During World War II, America's submarines were called the Silent Service. Their missions were deadly, dangerous, and secret. Crews lived in cramped steel tubes beneath the waves, where one mistake meant a watery grave. Among these men was Francis Sherman, a young Navy sailor whose technical skills helped turn one submarine, the USS Flasher, into one of the most successful war machines of the Pacific. Francis Sherman grew up in an America bracing for war. When the attack on Pearl Harbor shook the nation in December 1941, he, like millions of others, answered the call. In 1942, Sherman joined the Navy, and before long, found himself training for one of the most specialized and dangerous assignments: submarine duty. By late 1943, Sherman reported aboard the USS Flasher, a Below-class submarine. Life aboard was nothing like the surface Navy. The boat was less than 300 feet long, packed with 80 men, torpedoes, diesel fumes, and sweat. Privacy didn't exist. Fresh food ran out after 2 weeks, and showers were rare. Yet morale stayed high, because the Flasher wasn't just another submarine. It was a hunter. Sherman's job was critical. He maintained the radar, sonar, and radio systems that gave the Flasher its eyes and ears. In submarine warfare, information was survival. A sonar operator who heard a destroyer's screws, a radar blip of a convoy, these could mean the difference between victory and being crushed by depth charges. For Francis Sherman, keeping the radar and sonar alive during those moments wasn't just a job. It kept the crew one step ahead of death. Between 1943 and 1945, the Flasher prowled the South China Sea, the Philippines, and French Indochina. In 6 combat patrols, the submarine sank 21 Japanese ships, a staggering total of over 100,000 tons, one of the highest tallies of any U.S. submarine during the war. But victories came with terror. Each attack meant hours of silence, as depth charges rained down. The steel hull groaned. Bolts popped. Men sat at their stations, sweating in silence, knowing that if the submarine was crushed, there would be no escape. For Francis Sherman, keeping the radar and sonar alive during those moments wasn't just a job. It kept the crew one step ahead of death. Unlike the famous fighter aces or generals, men like Francis Sherman fought their war in the shadows. Submarine service was among the deadliest branches of the Navy. About 1 in 5 submariners never returned home. Yet their efforts were devastating to Japan's supply lines, choking off fuel and raw materials needed for the war effort. After the war ended, Sherman returned home. Like many veterans, he built a new life in peacetime. He later became part of the personal computer industry, helping to shape the technology that would define the modern world. From radar consoles at sea to circuit boards on land, Sherman's skills carried through a lifetime. Francis Sherman passed away in 2016 at the age of 96. He lived a long life, but never forgot his days under the waves. His story reminds us that history isn't only written by the generals or the presidents. It's written by the men in cramped bunks, the sailors at their stations, and the quiet heroes who kept their brothers alive in the darkness of war.